And we are live. Yay! Welcome to Glossop Improv Conversations. I have a bunch of lovely improvisers with me. But if you're watching along, please put any questions that you have for my lovely improvisers into the comments, and I will pose those questions, as long as they're not horrendous or offensive. You know, don't be horrible. But I'm sure that won't be the case. So we'll be having a bit of a chat about what got us into improv in the first place, what our first improv experiences were like, and who continues to inspire us in improv. So I will ask our lovely guests to introduce themselves, and we'll start with Assad.
Hi, hello everyone. My name is...
That was me. Sorry, that was me.
Oh, it's okay.
Right, so my name is Assad Khan and I'm from Mumbai in India. I am the producer and artistic director of Creating Humor and Improv Experience. I am one half of the Bromantic duo. I am also one of the people in charge at the World of Improv. I am one half of the Elki and Asadi show with Elki Reed. I am also one half of Creating Extreme Humor with David Riley Bustansky. And that's about it.
That's a lot of halves. If we added that all up, I think you equate to about 5 people there. We'll go with Lizzie next.
I'm Lizzie. I'm from Manchester, and well, to be exact, I'm from Cheshire, which is slightly south of Manchester and a bit more green. I'm not a half of anything that I can talk about. I'm a whole of, I mean, I don't feel even as a whole I'm as productive as you, Assad. But I really like, so I've done drama courses where we've done improv in the drama course, and I've loved it. It's been my favourite part, but I've never been to an actual improv class or an improv drop-in. And so when I came back at lockdown, that's when I started it, and I love it. So I want to continue it always. So that's me.
Fantastic, thank you. And Stephanie.
Hello, I'm Stephanie Ray. If you've ever seen me do anything before, you know already that technology is my great arch nemesis. That was me sharing the feed without turning the volume down on my phone that you heard earlier. I am founder and director of the Black Improv Alliance. I play with them in Wakanda versus Everybody and the International Players Club, along with 2 Stephs and a Tez, the replacements sometimes. And I do a bunch of stuff with Velvet Wells. He does a musical show in the Pack, and he does All Radio Request Hour and all kinds of cool musical things. I'm getting ready to do a show called Natatorium. That is a really exciting chamber improv musical drama show, and just all over Obama's internet.
Fantastic, lovely. So let's start off. I'll go to Assad first. What made you try improv for the first time?
Oh, well, I've always had that thing in me that I wanted to be on stage. And so ever since I was a child, I was, in some form or the other, I was always on stage. At some times I was forced onto stage. At certain points I was like, all right, let's do this, in like really, really terrible school plays and stuff like that. So with improv, it was like, I always had this knack in me to make jokes on the spot and do things on the spot. Everyone used to tell me like, oh, you're great at this, do this. And I never really had a channel to explore this. And there wasn't really a scene developing over here. So when the right opportunity came along, we're like, oh, let's do this. And I've always been a big fan of Whose Line Is It Anyway, ever since I was a kid. So yeah, so all those things surprisingly and magically worked out. That's what happened.
Wonderful. How about you, Lizzie?
Well, I have always loved just playing, you know, different characters. Whenever I'm with friends and that they play with me, I'm just like, oh, this is so fun. I could go on and on just playing and improvising. So I've always known I loved it. And then when I was in London, I worked on the London Ghost Bus playing a character, a small character, but there was a lot of traffic and a lot of things that went wrong with the bus all the time, and we had to improvise. And I was absolutely appalling. Like the person working with me, I think, took a deep breath of like a heart size sink feeling when they had to improvise with me, because I was just so bad. But then as I got used to it, my boss just said, look, the engine's broken down and it was only me and him. You need to just go and entertain the upper deck. And I'm like, what? How long for? And he's like, I don't know, just do it. And I was thrown into the deep end. And honestly, I had so much fun, and the audience were really lovely and laughing along with everything. And I just grew in confidence, and I just started for 20 minutes flat, just improvising in this character. And then I thought, I love this. And then not long after, the pandemic came, and then I had to move back home. So that was my short and brief highlight of improv, and I knew I loved it. And then I started with Glossop Improv, and it's just I love the playfulness and the connection that you get with people. And so yeah, I feel like it's in my bones. That's what I feel.
Yeah, lovely. How about you, Stephanie?
I just want to say, first off, I'm very intrigued by this London ghost bus. I want to hear more about that. But my first taste of improv was in high school, so about 20 years ago. I'm aging myself. But we would do like Freeze and Justify and 3-line scenes and drama club, and that was fun. You know, we did a little bit of improv there. I got really into improv formally in law school. So 11 years ago now. Actually, yesterday was my improv anniversary, 11 years since my very first, my 101 showcase. I started with the Washington Improv Theater in Washington, D.C. in the U.S. I actually was in my 3L year at Georgetown at the time, and there was a silent auction where businesses donated different products and people would bid on them, with the proceeds going to students who were taking internships in social justice programs, where they were like the ACLU and organizations like that, where they were basically volunteering their time and not going to make a lot of money. So we were raising money to give them stipends. So, you know, I'm broke, but I like winning things. So I bid the minimum on everything. So it was like $5 for this, $10 for that. Nobody else bid. I'll bid. Whatever I get, I get. And one of the things I won was a certificate for an improv class with the Washington Improv Theater that I think I paid like $10 for, and it was worth like $300. And I was like, whatever, I have it. I guess I'll show up to this thing and see what it is. And I just fell in love. You know, after long days of reading hundreds of pages of case law, I'd go to my improv class, and it's a bunch of adults like, we're all cats. Everybody walk like cats, meow. And it was just such a great way to relax and unwind from the heaviness of being in law school all day. So I fell in love with it. And after that, I was like, take all my little coins. I'm not going anywhere. I'm now in improv forever. So they got me.
Oh, wonderful.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that sounds amazing. Yeah,
So
I
cool.
definitely get the thing about, like, you know, you do your day job, and you know it can be heavy, and then yeah, you just get to be like, oh, I'm just going to be a cow for a while this evening.
Yeah.
We did a scene recently where I think it was me, Seki, and Megan Sherrod, and we ended up being cows because the suggestion was cows, and obviously we were not feeling particularly inspired on that day. But it was just really nice to just be a cow for a while. I was like, I've had a long day. I'm just gonna chew some grass and move for a while.
Completely. I think it's therapeutic.
Absolutely, yeah. So tell me about some teachers that inspired you in your improv journey. I'll open this up for anybody that's, you know, has something that springs to mind to go first.
So my 101 teacher was a woman named Karen Lange, who still does improv stuff and all kinds of cool creative things. And we're Facebook friends. And if you're watching, hi, Karen. She just was absolutely amazing. What really strikes me now looking back is how generous she was with her laughter. And that's something I've really incorporated into my teaching as well. I came out of 101 and then I took musical improv with her also, feeling so confident because she was just so warm and so encouraging. And I realized after the fact, like, I was not as good as I thought I was in that level 1 class, but I really came out like, I'm killing it. I'm great at this. Improv is my thing. Just because she made everybody feel so great about the most basic things. And I really love that she empowered us in that way.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. And Jay Suko, happy birthday to Jay Suko, by the way. He does that so brilliantly. I did like a series of workshops with him, and they were all about kind of making positive choices and things like that. And when he was putting the breakout rooms together, he was just like, oh, you guys, these combinations, you need to do a show together, because you guys are going to be so brilliant. Oh, just beautiful, beautiful combinations of people. And you're just like after a while, you're like, I know he's saying this all the time to everyone, but still I'm just going like, I'm actually quite good at improv.
Yes.
If you hear it enough and you start to believe it, and it does make a big difference.
Yeah.
Anybody else got any teachers or people that they've worked with that really jump out?
Well,
Lizzie.
well, it's not a teacher, but sorry to just go back to the Ghostbusters. It's just my main experience of improv in before Glossop, which I absolutely love. There was a guy that I worked with a lot, and he really built my confidence because we had a lot of traffic, me and this other guy, and he would almost feed me my character. So he'd say, oh, stop flirting, Miss Hinge was my character. And that made me think, oh, flirt a bit. And he would give me offers all the time, and it was brilliant. And he let me flourish, and rather than block me, he allowed me to create this character. And it was actually through working with him that my character became very eccentric, a little bit flirty, very, very odd, because he kept giving me these offers and saying, you know, oh, you don't want to go too close to that customer, do you? And then I went close to that in a weird but inappropriate way. So yeah, I think him, just because he gave me a lot to play with, and I reacted to that.
Fantastic. What about you, Assad?
Oh, so yes, when I first learned the basics of improv class, so my mentor, my teacher, who has basically taught me everything, her name is Kanis Surka. She is one of the biggest comedians in India today. The thing is, she does not teach improv very often. She is actually considered the queen of improv in India. But she does not teach often. She teaches once every 3 years, which is a very difficult thing to get your hands on. So when the right opportunity came along, I grabbed it as quick as I could, because I've been a fan of comedy and I've followed the comedy scene for a really long time. I used to go to her shows, and like stand-up shows and improv shows as well. I used to be so blown away with improv, the stuff that was happening. So I was like, oh my God, I just want to do this. I wish there was a way, because I did not know how to do this, because I've seen Whose Line and I've seen her shows. I just didn't know how to do it. I'm like, wow, this is magic. How are they even doing it? So when she announced that she's having a workshop, it was quite an expensive workshop, by the way. I was in a dilemma. Should I do this? Should I do it? No, yes, no. Do I do it for the fun of it? What exactly? And then I just signed up for it. And most of it came from the fact that I am going to be learning improv from Kanis Surka. It was such a huge deal for me. I was such a big fanboy. I was completely blown away. So on the day of the workshop, the first day, she was sitting right across. I was like, oh my God, that is Kanis Surka. I'm sitting like in the same room with her. Oh my God, and I'm freaking out completely. And just then, the door opens, and India's biggest comedian there is today, his name is Zakir Khan. He has like 1 million followers. He walks into the workshop, and I'm like, what the fuck is happening to me right now? What is happening? So he's a stand-up guy. He has always done stand-up, but he's never done improv in his life. And in that workshop, Kanis Surka was teaching Zakir Khan, and Assad Khan was in there, and my mind was all sorts of blown. And most of my workshops spent like, wow, I can't believe this is actually happening. I'm in a scene with Zakir Khan. I'm in a scene with Kanis Surka. It was crazy. I was totally fangirling, totally going all sorts of crazy. It was really fun. But yes, she is my mentor. She has taught me everything. She has worked so hard. And I was a terrible performer. I didn't know how to carry myself on stage, how to face the audience. And so if I had to take a cell phone out, I used to take my cell phone from my pocket out. And she told me, put that away. You have to actually mime that. So it was all, so it was all great stuff. And since then, I have taken her advice and, done a lot of things. And I've had so many great teachers after her, but she was the one. I mean, so I owe everything to her.
Oh, that's so lovely. That's, yeah, what a wonderful experience. That sounds incredible. Well, by talking about Jaysuko, we've summoned him and he's asked us a question.
Magical.
Wow.
He says, what brings you the most joy in improv? What makes your heart jump for joy when it happens in a scene or in a show? I'll just leave that out there for you to think about.
I love it when I make a very black deep cut reference and I can see people in the audience's eyes light up. That's really exciting for me because for so long I lived in an improv world where that sort of thing just didn't happen and I didn't think it was going to ever happen. So to now have teammates that I can make moves with that I couldn't have before and have audiences appreciate things I'm doing that wouldn't have been otherwise picked up, that's really special for me.
That's brilliant. Yeah, wonderful. Anything else?
Do you want to go first?
Yes.
You're both being too polite.
Oh, did you want to go first? Or
No, it's fine. You go first, Lizzie.
oh, right, sorry. Very polite. I think that I've realised that I love when I don't play for a laugh. Like I just play the scene truthfully and simply, but get a laugh. That makes my heart sing because it's like it was unexpected. I was like, oh, I wasn't necessarily, but now it's going in a really organically funny direction. And if my scene partner and I are sort of feeding off each other, and it feels like one of those balls that just gathers momentum. I love that. So I think I'd say when a scene ends up being really funny, but you're not set out to be like, this is going to be funny and I'm going to be humorous. Because I've learned, Jess, actually, you've taught me this. You really have, like, to just be honest in a scene and keep it simple. And I think that's the best. And then the humour will come organically with that, through the truth.
Absolutely. Assad, what about you?
I've had people come up to me after shows and they have point blank told me, it was so much fun watching you guys have fun on stage. And that's what I thrive for. I love enjoying myself on stage. And it's like, so if I'm having fun and the audience is having fun, watching us have fun, that's the best package for me right there. So yeah, as long as you're having fun while performing and you guys are on the same page throughout and you're working together as a team, it just works out in the end. So yeah, that's what makes me really happy.
Yeah, I think it really does come across as well. You can see, like, if you can see improvisers who love working together, and it transmits so much. And likewise, if people are sort of tense with one another, that also, as an audience member, you're like, those two don't like each other very much, and I can tell. And it's like, or you can see like, that person feels kind of uncomfortable, and now I'm not really going to enjoy the rest of this show. So it's so important to have fun and like the people you work with and work with people that you like. And if you're not having fun, then it definitely translates to the audience. Okay, lovely, thank you. Those were such lovely answers. Thinking about, what has improv taught you about yourself? sorry to get all deep on you for a moment here, but so it doesn't have to be like, I've realized that I have some deep-seated complexes. Just what have you kind of discovered about yourself through improv?
I like controlling things, and I'm not particularly patient. I do not like silence. I do not like emptiness. As you probably can see in this interview, I'm like, oh, no one is talking. Someone should be talking. All right, I'll start talking. Yeah, those are things I've definitely seen reflected in my performance and worked on to have some balance.
Wonderful.
That's really good. I think that I've realised that this is really hard to admit, but I don't listen as much as I think I should listen. And I kind of listen to the thoughts in my mind in a scene, like how I think it should go, and then react to that. And I think I'm really learning to just truly listen to what's going on, truly listen and truly react to that. And I think that's something that I have brought into my everyday life as well, because I love listening to people, but I just find it so easy to just go off and, like, if someone says something that resonates with me, I'll just start thinking my own thoughts. And so I think in improv, I've really learned, that's really highlighted it to me in like a big stark spotlight. I need to listen properly. And not only listen, but look, like truly look at people, because I think then you get so much of a feel of the story that they're trying to bring to the scene and to you as well. And only through that can you, I think, build a relationship in that scene truthfully. Otherwise it's just two actors or two people doing a monologue essentially rather than interacting. And so to echo you, Stephanie, I definitely think I have a control thing as well, because if like the teacher says an idea and I'm like, yes, I've got an idea for that, and then the scene partner isn't doing that idea, I'm like, I don't really know where to go with this now, because it's not. So I'm really learning to just lose control and let the scene be the driving force and not me and not the other person, just the energy between us be the honeypot, if that makes sense.
Lovely. What about
And
you?
yeah, and to definitely add to that, I am a control freak myself. I just love control so much. I can't have enough of it. But improv has changed me as a person altogether, entirely. It's just given me a whole 360 turn. So when I started off, I was a steamroller. You know, it's not bad to accept that. I mean, I have come around to it. But I was learning with other people. But I wish it could have gone other ways, but it didn't. Sadly, I lost a lot of connections, but I am where I should be. So I have made mistakes, and what has improv done for me is that it has made me such a better listener. It has actually affected my real life relationships with real people. So with my friends and loved ones, so when they're when people are talking and it's not as important, I never used to listen. But now I have 3 stages of listening. I can actually give them what they need of how much listening this conversation deserves. There's listening, there's active listening, and then there's deep listening. And by this, most of the times I am deep listening to everything. So it really works well because you actually grasp in so much, and it really affects your relationships in a very positive way. So
yeah. Can I just add something? Because I know what you mean, because like I think before when I thought I was listening, but I was relating it to my own experience. But now I think I'm truly listening in that, like, I'm asking the person like a myriad of questions about that, and I'm trying to bring that into improv because that taught me that, in that if someone brings something up in a scene, I try really hard not to just make it then, well, what you're saying will give me something, but what you're saying will give us something, and it will generate into that. If articulating it
Can I
properly.
just ask what the difference is between active listening and deep listening, Assad?
Oh wow, too much pressure to explain. Active listening, here's my definition of it. So, well, active listening is when you hear each and every word that is it's actually coming out of the mouths, and you hear and grasp everything to the core and understand everything. Deep listening is when you try to feel the emotion behind the words. I'm not sure if I am really explaining this well, but yeah, so deep listening is when you actually relate to that emotion and really understand the words from a very deep level, like why exactly this person is saying these things, and how it affects them, and what should the reaction be. So that's it.
Fantastic. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I just wanted to clarify that because I think it's a really important distinction to kind of think about, listening to absolutely everything, even things that aren't being said, like emotions and sort of underlying subtext to what we say. Yeah, thank you. Okay, thinking about inspiration still. So who is inspiring you now in the improv world? Who do you kind of look at and go, I love what they're doing?
There's this group called Glossop Improv. I'm a big fan of those people. Yeah, you should really check those out. Yeah.
I'll send you the money later, Assad.
So many people we have met through the online improv world. It's been so fascinating. I'm really scared that if I start mentioning people, I may not mention everyone, and then I'll feel bad about it. So I don't want to go off on a tangent where I start name dropping people.
I think it goes without saying that no matter how many people we mention, we're always going to miss people out, and it's because there are just so many good people. So yeah, just mention whoever kind of comes to mind.
Well, I'm a big fan, and I'm always going to be a big fan of Jay Suko. Happy birthday, Jay, by the way. So big fan of Jay Suko. I've loved working with him. I've learned so much with him, and have performed with him. It's been all sorts of great. I am so thankful to Carla Dingle of Queen City Comedy and Kale Evans of Queen City Comedy. They have opened up so many opportunities, and I've learned so much from them. It's been great. Sandra Lynn Jones of Zigzag International Improv. She has these free workshops every Friday, where she takes up a topic of improv and has a 2.5-hour workshop selflessly, and it is open to everybody. And she is so patient and so wonderful. I cannot put to words how great she is when it comes to teaching. And she's just an all-around awesome person. So yeah, these three people are like right up there, and I love and admire them so much. There's Ari, because who doesn't love Ari Mittler? And John Nguyen, Stephen Davidson, Irina Wilder. Oh my God, I have so many people to name, but yes, that's about it.
Wonderful. Thank you, Assad. How about you, Stephanie?
David Escobedo comes to mind right away. He is such an incredible talent, a brilliant mind, and also such a champion for this entire community, just tireless and always uplifting diverse voices and highlighting different teams, just tirelessly, thanklessly, for free, just because he has a passion for it. Nobody's doing what David does, and I'm like, I can never repay the ways that he's amplified the work that we're doing, the Black Improv Alliance, and the teams he's introduced me to that I'd never heard of, and now love and follow as well. So huge fan of David, the Improv Boost, and everything he's doing. Jay Suko, of course, huge fan. Like, to know Jay is to love Jay. That's what it is. That you meet Jay and you're immediately obsessed, and you're like, I'm on this train for life now. Huge fans of Crystal Ramser and Derek Hayes out of the Cookout Collective. They're doing some phenomenal work. Gosh, I also am definitely going to forget people. But Improv Comedy Bangalore, Laxmi Priya and Siddharth and Bala, just great people, so talented, so fun, doing awesome work over there too. Everybody in the International Players Club, Ty, Rashid, Blue, Michelle, all of them are doing incredible stuff. And oh, huge fans of Highwire Improv. Have been cultivating Black Joy Fridays with them, their placements in Branded Silk and No Lie Comedy Collective. And I know I'm definitely forgetting some folks. But yeah, all those people, huge fans, having a lot of fun following their work and seeing what they're doing.
Wonderful. What about you, Lizzie?
I talk about some friends of mine that aren't improvisers, but I've realised that they have really a lot of improv talent. In that over lockdown, I've been FaceTiming two of them and meeting two of them for walks, and they have taught me so much because they've not come from a drama background or anything, but they just are able to play and pick up characters really quickly, and sometimes we'll have walks totally in these characters, and I found them very cathartic in that what we've been going through in life, we just talk in these characters and sort of takes ourselves out of it and seeing it through the eyes of these characters, and it kind of makes everything okay and smaller. Yeah, I think I have to say that's been such a joy to just play with, and I think it's brought us even closer together because we've also, what's been fun is we've been able to, in these characters, say things to each other that we wouldn't normally, like, I think it would be hard to say as people, but there's some truthful things that we're allowed to say in character. So that's been lovely and quite healing as well. So the boundaries have been pushed. But I also think in Glossop Improv, I think everyone is so, I genuinely find everyone so inspiring because everyone is so good and like in their own way and brings so much. And then I've been following Liverpool Comedy Improv as well, and I just think it's just incredible, and I just laugh the whole time, and it's such a joy.
Yeah. Well, I think this is, oh, Stephanie.
I thought of a few more. I gotta say real fast. Okay, John Gabritatios out of Huge Theater and doing amazing social justice work. Tez Yancey, who is just such a joy and a pleasure to work with all the time. Mary C. Parker, who is the brilliant mind behind the Black Improv highlights that you've seen on our page recently. And of course, all the members of Wakanda versus Everybody. Velvet Wells, who is such a brilliant musical improviser and like my soul spiritual brother. Stefan Duncan, who I have not met in person yet. It's crazy, but like just feels like we were meant to be improv friends and fits in with what we do so seamlessly. And Alex Taylor, who's been my A1 since day one, there since the beginning, and just has such a great attitude and brings such a light and joy to everything he does. And I just love getting to play with him. Okay, I think that's mostly it. Probably still forgot some, but got most of them.
It's hard to remember some people too.
Oh yes, so David Riley Bustansky of Extreme Improv, he has been doing some fantastic stuff for the community. He has been streaming since before lockdown last year, and it has been more than a year now. He's been doing, I think there are 7 to 8 shows per week. Every week he's streaming straight to YouTube, and it's technology at its finest. The things he has done with the whole show thing, it's all sorts of crazy. It's beyond my understanding even, but he does that so selflessly. So yes, so he is my partner, and I'm so happy that I completely forgot about him. I didn't even mention him. But yeah, so there's one. And I would also like to mention Gavin Mathalaka, who has been such an important factor in my life. He is from this group in India called Mischief in Action. He has taught me so many things. It's incredible. Yeah. So yes, those two people. And there are still so many people that I am not just recollecting. But yes, Emma Bird of Liverpool Comedy Improv. Oh my God, yes. So I can't believe I forgot mentioning Emma. But yeah. Thank you so much, Emma. I'm really sorry about this.
So as soon as we're finished with this conversation, you'll be like, oh my God, I've just remembered 5 more people. I was about to say, this is the first time that nobody has brought up Stephanie Ray. It's because Stephanie Ray is here. But I think it's mentioned on every single one of these whenever I've asked this question.
So sweet.
Yeah. Are there any things that you would like to see changing in the improv community? I will leave that for anybody who wants to jump in.
I'm trying to not go first every time, so I'm like,
just go for it, Stephanie.
Okay. I would love to see white male straightness not as the standard, not as the assumed this is where we start from, and anything outside of that is diversity, is unusual, is we're making a point of bringing in, the less familiar categories of people. I would love to see us starting at a base reality of this could go anywhere, this could become anything. And I feel like too often we still do start from the standard of these are straight white dudes, and anything else we bring in is like mixing it up, changing it. Improv can be anything. I would love to see more scenes, communities that start from a true blank slate.
Yes, definitely.
To add to that, I also don't want to see what the West does for their pop culture to be the standard of like, okay, you should know this, and it's automatically assumed that that the references from the West are automatically understood by everyone involved. So this goes something really basic. All right. I've been to countless meetings, countless jams and workshops where right during introductions, people introduce themselves, and anyone who is not from America, they do have to mention their country. So, so I say, hi, my name is Assad Khan, I'm from Mumbai in India. And someone from America will just actually limit themselves by saying, so hi, my name is so-and-so, and I'm from Miami, Florida. I'm sorry, Stephanie, not to you, but that's the first thing that came to my mind. They don't bother mentioning the country because the states and the cities in America are just, supposed to be known by everybody else in the world. So after a point, it really bothers me because I've been trying to find those cities. Where the hell is the city? Let me Google this. So it really happens, and I wish that changes. People start mentioning their countries, because I really would like to know where you're from instead of just the state and the city. So that's one. And the other thing which is very important, so I did mention about pop culture. When you are endowing someone with a name, so if I'm Indian, try not to endow me with an Indian name, especially if you're a foreign performer. I do not like that. I really do not like that. So it's fine if you call me a David or a Mark or Jonathan, just call me anything because I'm fine with that. But if you call me Rajesh, I'm not comfortable with that just because I visually look like a Rajesh. So yeah.
I actually read your Facebook status about that, Assad, and I've started to add US when I say where I'm from.
Yes.
I feel like I'm very guilty of this because I keep just saying, I'm from Glossop. Glossop is such a tiny, tiny town in a sort of not very well-known county within England.
Oh, it's a place. Okay. I had no idea. I have been assuming that it was a mix of lip gloss and gossip this entire time. I was like, ooh, what a cool, sassy name. Lip gloss, gossip. We're ladies. We're strong. Glossop. That's what I've been assuming this entire time. So thank you for that information. Wow.
I'm going to retrofit that backstory and say, this is how we came up with this lip gloss gossip. That's fantastic. That is now the new origin story for Glossop Improv. Thank you. Lizzie, what about you? Anything that you would like to say?
So I was thinking, I can't think of anything that I would change at this moment. But I think the one thing that I hope will happen is, because I've worked with people from like all over the country and / world, because of the advantage of doing it all online. I really hope that I get the chance to see them and play with them and get to know them in real life, because I'd feel very sad if that didn't happen, because you get a bond with people, you know, when you do improv. And I just think that bond, I want it to translate into real life and build those friendships. So I think maybe that isn't change, but I hope that progresses into that when things go back to normal. I mean, I know, like, if someone's in Australia and I'm here, it's not very practical, but I just mean in the country, or if I'm in the States for some reason, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I think we need to sort of set up some kind of exchange program. So we'll send sort of certain number of improvisers from the UK out to India and out to the US.
Yes.
You know, so yeah,
exactly.
maybe kind of pen pal scheme. Assad.
Yeah, exactly. I was thinking that.
Yeah, so there's another thing that I would like to see changed in the improv community. So I'm just going to make a statement here, because that's what I've been personally feeling for a really long time. Improvisers need to stop buying tickets to improv shows. We need to support each other in actually different ways, and improvisers need to actually real audiences and not just improvisers. So it's actually a vicious circle that goes round and round. Hey, Jess is having a show. I'm going to buy a ticket to Jess's show, and nobody else is buying it. It's not good, you know. And if I'm doing a show, Jess is buying a ticket to my show. I don't want that. I want Jess to be there at my show. Just walk in for free, because you're a performer. You shouldn't be paying for anything. And the same thing goes for pay the performance, where you actually pay to jam and actually get stage time. I am so against that idea. If you're a performer, you should be paid for your performance. I really shouldn't be the other way around. So yeah, I really wish that could be implemented, where real audiences give more fucks about improv and start showing up to improv shows instead of improvisers supporting each other.
Yeah, that's a really good point. On the last one of these conversations, we had Mauro Simolo, who's an Italian improviser, and he was talking about they do a festival each year, and it's actually people from that town that go and see all of the shows. And it's like they've really built it into the infrastructure. Like the mayor of that town, like he loves the fact that this improv festival comes there, because like they do workshops during the day that are mostly for improvisers, but then at night the tickets are free for the people of the town. So it's a way to get all the people really invested in improv. And so like they've created this like incredible kind of improv community, and like a wider community within that sort of local area, so that whenever they do shows kind of the rest of the year, all the people in that town know all about improv, and they're like, oh yeah, we'll go and see that improv show. It needs to be more like stand-up comedy, you know, where you just like people just know what it is and go, oh yeah, I'll just go and see some improv, in the same way you would go to the theatre or go see stand-up. So
yeah, I agree with that.
And I'm absolutely with you on the pay to play thing. It just does not sit right with me at all. It's
I do not want to pay. Okay, just a small little thing. 300 rupees is a very big amount here in India. Okay, and I'm not paying 300 rupees to play 2 games, and one of those games is number of words. No, I'm not gonna pay for that shit. So this really came from a really deep place with me. So
no, I completely understand. Yeah,
definitely.
Okay, we've only got a few minutes left. So what one piece of advice would you give to somebody that is just starting out with improv? I'm going to put you on the spot here. So it's a really difficult question.
Wow.
I would say know that you can make it whatever you want it to be. That is the foundation of this entire form. Whether or not you've seen it, you have an example of it, know that you can create it. I wish it had not taken me so long to realize that I could build the thing that I wanted so badly to be a part of, that it could exist. I would just have to make it. But it was seeing it that opened my eyes to the fact that it even was possible. Seeing Three-Peat, which is a phenomenal all-Black improv team that's done all kinds of sketches and things with Comedy Central. Seeing Astronomy Club, another all-Black improv team that had a show on Netflix. Like, seeing these groups was what made me realize, oh, this I can have a community like that, when it didn't feel possible, when all I'd seen was white people around me all the time. So I would just say that know that whatever is on your heart is possible. You just might have to create it if you don't have it around you.
Yeah. It's the like the field of dreams approach. If you build it, they will come.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, that's lovely.
Any other thoughts? What advice would you give?
You go first.
Oh, okay. Just gathering my words here. I would say there is so much more to improv than just comedy and just short form games. There's so much more you can do, and there is no limit to what you can learn. And there's so much education available. It's not just you learn it once and then you are set for life. You are never set for life. So keep learning, keep evolving, and just don't look back. It's a muscle that goes so really, really early, and be ready for failure and just embrace the failure. Don't stay down, get right back up and work your way through it. And it requires a lot of hard work. So be ready for all of that.
Yeah, that's a good point. Just because this is playing, it doesn't mean that there's not hard work involved. And it can be tough sometimes, especially when you're starting out and you feel like you're constantly getting it wrong. I mean, that's part of the process, and you will keep getting it wrong through the rest of your life as an improviser, because that's sort of built into it. But just stick with it.
And I'd say go with your impulses and don't hold back. Like, just let your imagination take you somewhere that you don't imagine it would take you, and don't control the scene and don't control yourself. Because I think some of the most fun work I've done is just when not my subconscious, I'm trying to look for another word but I can't find it, but when I've just allowed myself to go in all different directions and be like raw in that way, and not afraid to look a complete, and that has been when it's just been the most fun, and the scenes have just had a magic in them. So I just don't be afraid, be silly, be really silly, and just almost just play like a child, because I think that is the key to sorry, I was going to come out with something really profound, but I can't think of it. Just trust in your scene partner, and just be silly, because I think some improv that I've seen, and I think the people are just being too serious. This was when I was in London, and I just thought it's funny, but play a bit more. And so that's what I'd say.
Wonderful. Well, we're just about at the end of our time together, so I will I'll give you this opportunity to plug anything that you want to plug. Has anyone got anything coming up, or any groups that they want to give a shout out to? The floor is yours.
Sure. So one more person I forgot real fast. I want to shout out my friend Dorian, who's not on Facebook a lot, but always shows up when I'm like, we're doing a show, who's in, and Dorian's like, I'll be there. So love that. Appreciate that kind of love and support always, Dorian. And got to shout out Freestyle Love Supreme Academy. I'm super excited to be an ambassador for them. They have created this amazingly warm community for freestyle rap, which you traditionally associate with like, oh, we're going to talk about your sneakers and your hairline. But it's this freestyle rap community where it's like, here's why the people in my group are awesome. Here's why you did something amazing. Here's why I'm so impressed by you. And it is just so fun and so free. And they've really opened up this form of musical improv to a broader, wider community. They have a freaking Broadway show, like Lin-Manuel Miranda's involved. It's crazy. But they're teaching classes now, and you can come learn from the pros who have been in the Hulu documentary and done all these incredible things that are like directly teaching you how to do this and just having so much fun. So I cannot recommend them enough. Freestyle Love Supreme Academy, find them online. They've got classes going on that you can access from all over the world because everything's remote now. So check them out.
Awesome. Thank you.
Cool.
Anybody else?
So I have, at the start of lockdown, I started to create a character that basically goes through all the mundane issues in life, but gets really, really angry. And it's like, it's meant to be all of our inner monologue about the small things like going out for a family meal and there only being one brownie left and the children in the family get it and you have to be all gracious, like, yes, of course you can have it, but inside you're seething. I've done 6 short skits like that I'm thinking about putting onto YouTube. So I just thought I'd plug that whilst the opportunity's there.
Oh yeah, we'll share that from the Glossop Improv page as well. Wonderful.
Thank you.
Assad.
Yeah, so if you could please subscribe to the World of Improv on YouTube and also on Facebook if you can like that. We have a bunch of shows that we have done, and some great teams have been curated and some really great formats have been explored. So please do check those out. I have a show with Elki on Extreme Improv. It's a duo show where we feature one guest on each show, and it happens every Tuesday at 5:30 p.m. In the UK. So that's one thing. And creating extreme humor with David Dostansky. We play multiple characters. It's all sorts of crazy. It's Middleditch and Schwartz, but not on Netflix. So that's what it is. So yeah, please check those.
Last thing, I am so bad at promoting my own stuff, but Black Improv Alliance has a Redbubble page with merch, so check that out. And we have a Patreon now, and we're trying to get 100 subscribers this month, and I haven't talked about it nearly enough. So please check out our Patreon, Black Improv Alliance.
Lovely. Can you send me the link for that, and I will share it on all over everywhere.
Yes, yes, I will.
Wonderful. Okay, thank you all so much. It's been wonderful talking to you, and thank you to our audience for watching us. We will be doing some more of these. We don't have any dates lined up yet, but if you are an improviser and you're watching this and you haven't done this already, then come and join me. I'd love to interview lots more people and hear about their experiences because it's always fun. Assad?
Yeah, since we didn't mention this, throughout the hour that we have been talking, one big advice for everyone: if you are an improviser, if you're officially an improviser, please join the Improvisers Talking About Food group.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, Improvisers Talking About Food is one of the most wonderful groups on Facebook. It's just people, no matter, it's not even, you don't even have to be a good cook. You could put a bowl of anything on there and people are like, wow, that looks delicious, give me the recipe. It's incredible. It's so supportive, but it will make you very hungry. So I will let these fabulous improvisers go back to their wonderful improv worlds now, so we'll say goodbye to Facebook for now. Bye, Facebook.